Michael Anthony here. Michael Anthony Outdoors. Ooh, baby. It is a beautiful morning. It is Saturday, June 22nd. The sun's just starting to come up. It's actually nice and cool. It's about 6 a.m. I'm up early because we have a heat wave going on right now, and I'm sure many of you are experiencing it throughout the country. And it's been in the 90s every day. Absolutely brutal. No real rain in the forecast. I think the next predicted rain is in a few days, Wednesday next week. Anyway, what we're doing today is working on our corn plot. Now, I'm getting here late. We're doing a Hail Mary basically for this corn plot that I'm putting in. And just to kind of reiterate what I've done so far, this is the field that I came in earlier in the spring. I disced it up, and then I broadcasted buckwheat in here the day before it was supposed to rain. The plan was to use that buckwheat as a smother crop, smother out weeds, let it grow up, plus it improves the soil. Broadcast the corn and then crimp it down. Here's the problem. Number one, this was an old field. It hasn't had anything done to it at all. I'm not using any glyphosate or herbicide at all. So I timed the buckwheat right before it was supposed to rain. The problem was it didn't rain. To make it even worse, it didn't rain for over 2 weeks, which is kind of crazy because we had a lot of rain this spring. It was raining all the time. And then I put the buckwheat out and it doesn't rain. The forecast was wrong. And it took over 2 weeks till we even got any rain at all. So what happened was the birds, the wildlife, they were in here eating all the seed, having a good old time, right? And so they put a pretty heavy dent on the seed that I put down. I cultipacked it in, but there was still a lot of seed on the surface. And with buckwheat, it'll still germinate that way. The problem was we didn't get the moisture we needed, so we didn't get good germination rate. Now, the second thing that happened was when it did start to grow, and it did, the deer were annihilating it. They were coming in every night and just snip, snip, snip. So every time I'd come in and take a look at the buckwheat that was growing, it was all freshly snipped off. You could just see where they were eating it. They were eating it. So they put a pretty good dent in it. Now you can see this field's freshly mowed. So I actually came in and mowed it the other day. I was gonna record some of that, but my cameras were having some issues, so I just said, to hell with it, came in and mowed it. But it was only about a foot high on average, so it really wasn't high enough to crimp, and we just didn't have enough thick buckwheat in here to actually crimp. So I decided to just mow it down, right? It's still gonna improve the soil. The other stuff that was growing was pretty much broadleaf plants. There was a lot of broadleaf plants and buckwheat growing. So we did knock down a lot of that cool season grass with the disking I did earlier in the year, which is good. And so what we have here is a freshly mowed field. And what I'm doing today, like I said, this is kind of, this is really like all experimental because I'm not using any herbicide, which would make this whole process easier, but I'm not going to use it. So we're going to try to do it without using that. If you look at the field now, it's all freshly mowed down, right? But you could see there's a lot of open soil still, right, from when we did the disking earlier this year. So you could see a lot of open dirt. So here's the plan today. Here's the Hail Mary I'm going to do. I don't know if this is going to work good or not. I'm hoping it does. But I'm coming in. I'm going to disc now. I'm going to disc this whole field up again. It's about 2.5 acres. And it should go over pretty easily because I already disced it up earlier this year. You can see we already have open soil for the most part. It's not as thick as it was before. So it should disc pretty easy. Plus we got some moisture on the ground right now, which will help with this disking because it's early morning. We got a lot of dew. And so we're going to get this all disced up. And then, depending on how clumpy it is, I might do a drag. Use my drag harrow and drag out some of the clumps, smooth it out a little bit. But then we're going to broadcast the corn. Now I got BioLogic sweet corn, heirloom varieties. There's 2 varieties they have in there. And I'll show that to you later, but we're going to broadcast that corn just using a bag broadcaster, like a hand broadcaster. Get that all on the ground. And then we're going to come in and probably do a little bit of a light disking to really incorporate that corn, because you got to get it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep. And so try to incorporate a lot of that corn just on a lighter disc setting, right? So it doesn't get too deep. And then we're going to come in and cultipack that corn seed down, right? Try to get that down on the ground. It's got to be 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep to get good germination. So we're going to use the cultipacker, see how that goes. If necessary, you might have to do a little light disking or another drag. We're going to just kind of play it by ear and see how it looks, how it goes, how the soil works up, and how well the cultipacking gets it down in there. We don't want too much of that corn exposed. It'll just get eaten up. So that's the plan. And then we're just gonna wait and see, right? It's late June. I'm coming in and doing this kind of late. I had no intentions on doing this late. We had some issues. Our boy Hunter, my chocolate lab, was having some health issues, and so we were in Pittsburgh. We were at the vet a lot. He's doing a lot better. He's here today. He's recovering. He's doing pretty good. But yeah, that just took up a lot of time, and so I'm kind of getting to this late. It's not too late. Here in Southeast Ohio, we still have plenty of time for this corn to grow and grow well. Now, I actually thought about asking a neighbor of mine who's a farmer to, I was going to see if I could pay him to actually do the corn planting. He's got all that big equipment, the corn planters and all that stuff. But because we got to get in here and do this pretty much this weekend, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to do it on my own. I got the disc. I don't got a corn planter, but we're going to try to broadcast. Again, this is all experimental. I've never done it this way, but I know you could do it. I know other people have done it this way. You could do this without using herbicide. Obviously, herbicide makes this whole process a hell of a lot easier, but I'm not going to use that stuff. So we're going to do it mechanically. And see how it works out. Now, ultimately, I want to get to the point where I'm not even doing tillage, right? But it's going to take, when you get into these old fields that haven't had anything done in a while, they've just been sitting fallow for a while, sometimes it takes some working of the soil to get it to a point where you can get something in here like buckwheat or rye and start to get a good rotation of these smother crops, these cover crops. So my goal is to continue working on some of these fields where the food plots are. Some of my other fields are doing great. They got rye growing up, smothering out all the weeds. I got some buckwheat I'm going to also incorporate into that. And we're not going to have to till those fields at all because we did it last year. So might have to use a little tillage to get started. But once you get a good rotation going and you got a crimper and everything, you could do this all without herbicide or without tillage. Sometimes it just takes stuff like that to get it started. So, all right, I'm gonna go hook up the disc to the tractor. It's a beautiful day. The sun's coming up over there. I got my coffee. I got a stogie for later. It's gonna be a great day, peeps. Let's do it. All right, we're pulling the old disc out. All right, guys, we got the old Ford 860 out. We got the old disc hooked up. Let's get the discing, baby. disced up. Looks really nice. Look at that. This is what we want. All right, so we got the field all disced up. It did go pretty well. It's not very clumpy at all, so I'm actually going to broadcast the corn right now. It's actually getting really hot out, and I'm just going to use a bag broadcaster, and we're going to get that spread out real nice, and then we'll come back and cultipack it after that and see how that goes. So let me show you the seed we're working with here. So I'm using this BioLogic sweet corn, 2 different heirloom varieties. One's a dwarf variety, then the other one's kind of your regular sweet corn variety. But yeah, we're gonna see how this stuff does. I've never used it before. We're gonna load this bag up. We're gonna start broadcasting, baby. Exciting. Okay, that's one bag. All right, so I got enough corn for about 3 acres, and we're only planting about 2.5 acres, so a little bit extra because obviously we're broadcasting. We're not going to get every single seed into the ground. It's not like we're drilling it, right? So we're going to go ahead and get at it. It's getting hot. Let's start broadcasting. Oh man, it's hot. All right guys, so I got it broadcasted out. Went over really well. We got this nice fluffy soil. The corn was landing real well. I don't think it'll take much to get it down as deep as it needs to be to germinate. So I'm gonna actually do some very light disking with the tractor and the disc. I'm gonna just set it on a very low setting just to get this corn covered, and then I'm gonna come back and use the Packer Max to cultipack it. So let's get going. All right guys, so I got the field lightly disked. The camera overheated because it's so hot outside. I didn't get any video of that, but all I did was set the disc on a lower setting, and I just made a bunch of passes, covered the whole field. It's going really well, so I'm not seeing a lot of corn seed exposed, but we're gonna use the Packer Max, the beast. We're gonna pack that down. This thing's like 400 pounds full of water. I love this thing. And then even the big tires on here will help push that seed down. This is awesome. It's got the crimper combo, so if you're going to be crimping buckwheat or something like that, it'll just flip it over. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, we're going to hit this field really good. We're going to have a good old time. It'll be a little shadier in there. It's getting brutally hot. So once I get this done, we'll be done for the most part. Come back and broadcast fertilizer. So other than that, we got the seed on the ground. The ground's looking good, and hopefully that rain comes in the next few days as they we're predicting. So let's get to it, baby. Guys, we've been cultipacking for a while. It's going well. Take a little peek for yourself. So I'm going to continue on for a little bit longer and call it a day. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The season's coming up quick, so I hope everyone's excited for upcoming archery. Some big old buckaroos, baby. All right, we'll see you later.